Hello, this is David Soffer. This is part 4 of Tyranny, Soffer versus Chase. As I explained to you, I sued J.P. Morgan Chase. I'm also involved in another lawsuit involving my homeowners association. There's something else I'd like you to understand. I actually had a retainer agreement with an attorney to sue J.P. Morgan Chase. This attorney was so unethical, she would not follow my instructions, she would not sue Chase, and because of this, it caused so much friction. My own lawyer, actually filed a police report against me and then a restraining order. Now listen to me. Anyone can file a restraining order against you. There's nothing to stop someone from doing that. But it's up to the judge on whether or not to grant it. And guess what? When a judge grants a restraining order, he can take away your Second Amendment right. This has happened to me repeatedly. This is how easy it is to stop someone from legally buying firearms or ammunition. My own lawyer filed a restraining order against me. The judge granted it. He should have disciplined my attorney for ethics violations. Anyone will tell you if an attorney is abiding by the rules of professional conduct, there should be no reason why a person would ever complain about their lawyer. You should love your lawyer, right? Well, that's why they tell you never to speak out when you're in court. Always let your lawyer do the talking for you, because they know people are always unhappy with their lawyers, and if they were to speak out and say something negative about their attorney, it would really put the judge in a very awkward situation, because if he didn't take disciplinary action against your lawyer, it would make him look like he has no standard of ethics. And of course, they don't want to do that, because any judge who would take disciplinary action against an attorney would find all the other lawyers would turn against them. So it just makes the whole system look corrupt, which it is. But anyhow, if my own lawyer can file a restraining order against me, a judge can grant it and tell me I have to turn in any firearms that I have, and tells me I can't buy any guns or ammunition, and if I do, the authorities would be notified and I would be subject to arrest. Well then, why couldn't the FBI find a way to have a restraining order filed against that terrorist in Orlando? You're telling me they couldn't find a way to do that? You don't have to have a reason. It's up to a judge on whether or not he grants it. Anyone could file a restraining order. And you're telling me the FBI wouldn't be able to influence a judge to grant that and take away that person's Second Amendment right so he can't buy any firearms? I think the government just wants you to believe that your rights stand in the way of them protecting you. Don't believe it. The reason why they want to take away your guns and your rights is because the government knows how totally corrupt they are and how totally corrupt the judicial system is. And they're afraid that eventually people are going to use their guns against them, which is exactly what the Second Amendment is intended for. So you can defend yourself against tyranny. But of course, the government needs the police, the prosecutors, the lawyers, and the judges to protect them against people who expose them for their crimes and corruption. So they're not going to take any action against a DA, because that's who they really need. They really need the prosecutors to prosecute people. That's why whistleblowers are wrongly and maliciously prosecuted for things like espionage. That's why the government won't take any action against these people. They need them. So think about what happened in Ferguson. The people protested, but the DOJ didn't investigate the police or the courts, and the people rioted, but the DOJ did not investigate the police or courts, and the people burned the city down. And the DOJ still didn't investigate the police or the courts. You know when the DOJ investigated the police and the courts? When people started killing cops. That's when the DOJ finally investigated the police and the courts in Ferguson and admitted that they were corrupt. But they didn't even investigate the DA, and I assure you, if the police and the courts are corrupt, it's because the DA's corrupt. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. So, this is the problem. The government agencies also they let these corporations get away with all the fraud they want. I told you that I'm involved in a lawsuit with my homeowners association. Guess what? I'm actually insured for liability. So when I'm sued, I'm insured for liability. You have to look at the policy. Believe me when I tell you, there's no question, I'm insured for this lawsuit. In fact, the enforcement branch of the Department of Insurance sent a letter to me in response to a complaint that I filed against Travelers Insurance for fraud. Because the letters Travelers sent me to deny my claim violated the insurance code for misrepresenting the terms of the policy, and they violated the laws against deceptive business practices, which is fraud. And then the Department of Insurance assigned my complaint to the San Diego office for enforcement. They wouldn't do anything. So guess what? I contacted the ombudsman at the Department of Insurance, and she had the California Attorney General file a restraining order against me, and they actually had the nerve to put in their declaration that my complaint against Travelers was not valid. So let me ask you, if my complaint wasn't valid, why did they assign my complaint to the San Diego office for enforcement action? They actually put that in their declaration. It makes no sense because it isn't true. The complaint was totally valid. Excuse me. And if you Google Soffer versus Chase, you'll see the documents I'm referring to. So these corrupt government agencies like the Department of Insurance and the Department of Business Oversight allow these corrupt corporations to commit all the fraud they want, and then the attorney generals represent these government agencies who allow these corporations to commit fraud. It's unbelievable. So please Google Soffer versus Chase. Click on the first link for chasesucks.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. Thank you very much. Please stay tuned for additional videos from me regarding tyranny. And please share this video with everyone you know, because we are all now under tyranny. When no one will do anything to defend your rights, when there's no government oversight with the courts, when the courts can run wild and commit crimes and felonies, and you report them to the media and every form of oversight, and no one will do anything, when the police can break down your door and not show you a warrant, when the judges deprive you of your right to free speech at your own hearing, when no one will do anything, you're living under tyranny. And something has to be done to reform our judicial system, because these plea bargains are amounts to tyranny. There's no reason for them. They only allow the government to convict people without having to prove the charges. Again, please Google Soffer versus Chase. And please look up my other case involving my homeowners association, Ocean Crest Townhomes HOA versus Soffer. Change the year to 2015 and enter in the case number 13627, because this judge is covering up for the other judge, he's covering up for the police, he's covering up for the DA, and something needs to be done about this, unless you like living under tyranny. Thank you.